Let's go, bro.
Since NFTs and the tech behind them is still so new, it can be really hard to picture what it will look like, how we might use NFTs in the future, if it'll be an everyday thing, if it'll be used in every part of our lives, or if it'll just be used for very specific niche things. Now, I don't have the answer to that question, unfortunately, but there is one specific space that I think NFTs are bound to make leaps and bounds. And to me, it just makes the most sense that they could be used in this way. And what I'm referring to is NFTs being used in gaming. So in this video, I'll be highlighting some exciting developments that we have seen in the Web3 gaming world, specifically from Immutable X. And in case you don't know, Immutable X is the blockchain that Ecomi is on. So what happens there is really important for what's going to happen with VeVe and Ecomi. And by the end of the video, I'll also be showing how VeVe and Ecomi relates to these developments in the Web3 gaming space. Because I know for a lot of us, VeVe and Ecomi is our main interest, our main investment. And before we get into it, I just want everyone to know that this is not financial advice and will never be financial advice. Let's go. So the first thing that I wanted to point out was a tweet from Robbie Ferguson, who is the co-founder of Immutable X. And he is really big on Web3 gaming, as you'll see throughout this whole video. So this tweet says, "Gaming is bigger than music, movies, and TV combined." That's hard to believe, but it's apparently true. It's compounding 10% year on year. The $100 billion a year spent renting items is going to turn into a $1 trillion ownable economy. All of it will be built on Web3. So here we see the graph that goes along with it. The red bar is video games, and then black is music, gray is films. And as you see, since about 2007, gaming has a considerable edge on all those. It was bigger a couple years before that, but that's when it really starts to show the difference in how much bigger it is in these things. And as you can see, year by year, it only widens the gap. So I think this is a sign of the times, as you know, Chad from NFT Pirates always says, that the world is going digital. We are only going more and more digital. And this is one of the examples of that. So more and more people are gaming. Kids who grew up today, gaming is one of the main hobbies, especially, you know, with the recent times, people had to stay in a lot more, and gaming really grew a lot. Streaming grew a lot. So I would expect this to only keep growing. And I just realized that my head has been blocking part of the graph. So there you guys go. I'll move myself way over here. And as you can see in the graph, it only grows even more. And then I also want to go over another Robbie Ferguson tweet. And this one is from back in June, and it says 500 million reasons to build on Ethereum. And the number that he's referring to is the $500 million that Immutable X has invested into Web3 gaming. So let's go check out this article. It has some pretty cool info in it. So as you can see from the headline, Immutable X plots $500 million fund for NFT game developers. And the Immutable Ventures will offer investments in grants, in IMX tokens and cash for developers building on its Ethereum scaling solution. So you'll also, in case you're not too familiar, you'll also learn a few things about what IMX is, what its purpose is, and maybe just some cool info about, you know, who they're partnered with. So Immutable X is used by firms like GameStop, TikTok, and ESL for NFT collectibles and crypto-powered video games. Funds will support development, building upon success with blockchain games, Gods Unchained, and Guilds of Guardians. So I actually played Gods Unchained. I haven't played it in a little while, but for about a month or so, I was going pretty hard on it. And it's honestly a lot of fun, and it can get pretty addicting. And it's pretty cool to see that they're continuing to build off of it. And it's pretty cool being a part of a brand new frontier, a brand new space in Web3 gaming. So I might have to get back into it, but if you play it, let me know down in the comments, and maybe we can run a few games or something like that. I don't know if you want to go against me with my decks, but we'll see. And I also didn't want to gloss over the fact that Immutable X is used by firms like GameStop, TikTok, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not sure what ESL is. Maybe we could just figure that one out real quick. Production company, German esports organizer, and production company that produces video game competitions worldwide. Okay, that definitely makes a lot of sense. Definitely fits what they're trying to do with this venture fund here. And I just feel great reassurance when I see major companies like GameStop and TikTok embrace this Web3 space. It shows that there is a lot of trust building, that they see the vision of where Web3 is going, and they are putting their money where their mouth is. So if more major companies follow suit and build off of these Web3 companies such as Immutable X, then eventually it'll just be integrated into the mainstream, and people will have no choice but to use NFTs. Maybe we get to a point where people don't even know that they're using NFTs, similar to the way that a lot of people don't even know that they're using cryptocurrency when they use the VeVe app because it is masked behind gems. So in case you're worried about the future of NFTs or Web3, just know that these companies with major financials on the line, they are trusting it and they are building on it. So I kind of got off on a tangent there, but there's a couple more things that I want to highlight about this article. So Immutable Ventures will target NFT projects that are committed to our growing digital ecosystem, with the understanding that we have just begun to scratch the surface of the massive potential for this category. That was said by, as I mentioned, co-founder of Immutable X, Robbie Ferguson. So just in case you don't know what it is, or in case you need a little refresher, Immutable X is a scaling solution that enables faster, cheaper, and more energy efficient transactions than Ethereum's own mainnet can handle. So one of the things that I really like is the energy efficient part, because in case you've ever stepped out of NFT Twitter, one of the main gripes people have with NFTs and why they honestly despise them, or at least don't like them or don't want to use them, is because there's some truth to it. We're getting away from it, such as Immutable X, but they say that they are really energy intensive, but that is just not the case for every NFT. And going forward, I think companies, if they want to be successful in the NFT space, they will need to make energy efficient solutions. But that is covered on Immutable X. You don't need to worry about your VeVe collectibles or any kind of Ecomi related things taking up a lot of energy. You can feel good about your environmental carbon footprint. And so these features, faster, cheaper, and more energy efficient, those work perfectly for Web3 games, because as it says here, IMX is well suited to applications that require a large amount of transactions, including potential low value purchases such as crypto powered games and NFT projects. So, in games, most times people aren't going to be transferring tens of thousands of dollars worth of assets. That would probably be a much more rare thing. It's going to be like, I know, for example, on Gods Unchained, I've bought cards for 10 cents worth of Ethereum. And in order for NFTs to really take hold in gaming, it needs to be extremely accessible. We need the kids who are playing to be able to participate. And if everything is $100 plus, or even more in the thousands, then that's going to draw a lot of people away. But if it's a few cents here and there, pretty much anybody can do it. And that is so important, because accessibility is going to be the main driver of mainstream adoption. And this right here is another example of IMX going full steam ahead with their Web3 game development. This tweet from Immutable X says that they are hyperscaling worldwide Web3 on layer 2 Ethereum. This next generation MMORPG builds a truly interoperable gaming experience and already has 1 million plus NFTs in its gaming economy. Immutable X and Starkware enables 80,000 players gas-free NFT trading on IMX-powered marketplaces. And then the creator of this game, Worldwide Web3, announces too that he is launching their Season 1 alpha on Immutable, bringing NFT items, bosses, and drops to the game. Using this gasless, zero-knowledge rollup solution, players will be able to earn and create NFTs in-game with zero upfront cost, or pay a small gas fee to withdraw them onto Ethereum layer 1. So here we go, zero upfront cost, accessibility. This right here is so important. So keep that accessibility thought in the back of your mind, because I'll be revisiting it later in this video. But what I want to do now is show you a short clip from a recent interview that Robbie Ferguson did with Carly Riley, and he talks about the major investment into Web3 gaming in the recent years. So I'll let him speak for himself, and then we will talk about it afterwards.
The stat I shared recently, I want to highlight, is $8 billion have been invested into Web3 games. In 2020, the entirety of gaming investment, and that includes some of the Web3 investments, was just over $4 billion. So
double the amount of money has been invested in blockchain games in the last year?
It would be around the last 18 months.
Last
majorly.
18 months.
Yeah.
That was invested in all of gaming, not just Web3 games.
Yeah.
So yeah, with those numbers, I don't think it's a matter of if Web3 gaming takes off. It's just a matter of when, with all this investment. And as a lifelong gamer myself, this gets me so hyped up. And we are just keeping the tweets coming, because Robbie Ferguson has been going on a tear with all these gaming updates. But this one is from early August, and it says, the GameStop wallet is now fully integrated with Immutable X. With the upcoming marketplace integration soon, every Immutable game will be coming to GameStop NFT via our global order book. So this will allow for so much easy integration and can easily onboard a lot of new users. So next up, we got another tweet, but this time it is not from Robbie Ferguson. It is from my boy Green Gobbler. He does a lot of great research. He is always in the know as to everything going on with all things VeVe and Ecomi, and even everything adjacent to those things. So I pulled this tweet from his account, and he pulled a little blurb from an article where it says, while nobody knows who will lead the NFT gaming market, Bloomberg believes video games will drive the emerging metaverse industry. According to Bloomberg's latest predictions, gaming will account for $400 billion, with a B, of the metaverse market's $800 billion by 2024. So Bloomberg agrees. I'm sure they have, more research and more numbers to back up their claims, but they agree with me that gaming will be a massive, massive market share of NFTs. I think massive might be an understatement because they predict that gaming will account for half of the metaverse's market share. And going back to that first graph that I showed, it makes a lot more sense when you consider how much bigger gaming is than even movies and TVs combined. So now I want to expand a little bit more on why I think that gaming will be the vessel that really carries NFTs into the mainstream. And the first reason is that this is not a new concept for gamers. You won't need to convince people that buying digital goods is the future. People have already been doing that for decades, and it is especially ramped up recently with the emergence of microtransactions and pack openings and all that good stuff. So gamers are no stranger to pouring tons of money into games that they enjoy and they enjoy spending their time in. And people, including myself, still do that knowing that the money is worthless outside of that game and that you can't pull it out, you can't get your investment back, you can't flip it. It's just you convert your real money into the game money, and that's that. And there's a personal example that I want to share when it comes to my gaming investments, and that is that back in the day, I play a lot of FIFA, and I would play FIFA Ultimate Team. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that. And so I would spend real money to buy packs to get a chance at buying a good player so that I could either use them in the game or that I could sell them on in the Ultimate Team market in order to get the gaming currency. And the worst part about it is that once they would come out with a new game, which they do every single year, you would lose all your progress, all your packs. Every year you start from zero, you start from scratch, and people still continue to buy more packs every single year. So imagine how much people would invest if the money was actually invested, not just spent. Once you buy it, you actually own the product, you actually own the digital good. And of course, there's no guarantee that it'll make you money or that it'll retain its value, but you at least have the option to sell some of it or maybe transfer it to a different platform. So say you get tired of FIFA, you want to sell your whole FIFA Ultimate Team, you could sell that for Ethereum or whatever the crypto might be. Then you can use that money into other games, games that you're now more interested in. So here I've got yet another tweet to back up my opinion. I feel like I'm a lawyer right now trying to close a case, but this one is from DCL Blogger, and he says that NFTs will flip crypto in the coming decade. Way more people into games, art, music, entertainment than a cryptocurrency. So I've had this thought for a while, and I actually made a video about it. I didn't post it, but I recorded it, and then I decided for whatever reason I didn't really like how it came out, so I never actually ended up editing it and posting it. But I at least recorded one where I said that I think NFTs will be bigger than crypto. What's going on? My name is NFT Flenny, and today I'm coming at you guys with an unpopular opinion, or maybe it's not unpopular. I'm not so sure. It's some kind of opinion, some kind of prediction. But that is that I think that NFTs will be much bigger than crypto, and pretty much for the reasons that he says here. There's just way more people who are into these things, and it wouldn't be as much of a jump for them to enter into the NFT space because, like I mentioned previously, if companies make these in a specific way, a lot of people might not even know that they own an NFT or that they're transacting with NFTs. But there are literally hundreds of cryptocurrencies. There is not one that is really universally accepted or that everyone leans toward. It's also broken up. There's so much to know about it. It's easy to lose your money if you don't know how to protect yourself. It's just, I don't really see it becoming super mainstream, or maybe there will be one or two that rise above the rest, and the rest of them are just maybe for really niche use cases or for, niche communities. But like DCL Blogger says here, games, art, music, entertainment, there are so many things you can do, buying tickets with NFTs, buying digital assets in games. People on an individual level, but also on a societal level, won't need to completely revamp the financial system in order to get into NFTs. But in order for cryptocurrency to get as big as maybe some of us hope, like governments would need to embrace cryptocurrency, your grandma would need to learn how to use cryptocurrency. Like, what do you think the odds of that happening are? I think it's pretty low, not impossible, or, maybe I'm not picturing how it's actually going to play out. I feel like I'm kind of talking in circles here, but NFTs, much more accessible and much easier to latch onto for new people who don't know anything about the space. And check out this stat from Justin Taylor on Twitter. Daily active users for the following games. So the Sandbox, which is, the crypto metaverse, 1,100. Decentraland, another crypto metaverse, below 1,000. And then here we got the big dogs. We got Fortnite, 30 million daily active, 30 million. And I actually checked these numbers because I wasn't sure if he was just making these up or whatever. But, if you check it out here, 30 million users playing daily across all platforms. And then we got Roblox, 37 million, Valorant, 800,000, and Second Life, 200,000. So metaverse games and experiences, they're not even a blip on the radar. It is so small. And you might not want to hear it again, but I'm gonna just say it. So if you don't want to listen to me say it, you can hit mute or whatever. But we are still so early. And as I mentioned, with all the other supporting evidence I used before, all the investments, all the institutional backing, I don't see this number staying how it is. I see it growing exponentially. So it is really an exciting time to be in at the ground level of these Web3 projects. Remember how I was saying how important accessibility is? What do you notice about these two games right here that have by far the most out of this list? Fortnite and Roblox. What do you notice? These games are played religiously by little kids. Do you think little kids have the money or even the knowledge to understand how crypto works, to have enough crypto to transact and to responsibly use that crypto? That's why I was saying it's really important that these games aren't super expensive, or that it's not even really very clear that you're using crypto or using NFTs, because if we are making transactions like this, if little kids will be doing this, it'll need to be in the few cents. There has to be like caps on how much they can spend. So accessibility is major, and this is where the user base is. I'm not saying we should be like targeting kids or anything like that, but if we want numbers like this, that is the demographic that we'll have to satisfy and meet their needs. So although there's a lot to be excited about the developments when it comes to Web3 gaming, there are also some things that we have to be cautious of and not fall into some traps when it comes to, what we invest in or what we think will be successful. And there are two tweets from Trevor that I want to point out, and he's not exactly talking about gaming NFTs, but I'm gonna bring it back to that. So he says, here's a hot take. Regular people won't buy something because it's an NFT. They will buy something if the product is great. NFTs are the tech layer, not the product layer. As far as I know, VeVe collectibles are NFTs. They are. You should know that, Trevor. But the argument is irrelevant. All that matters is people see the value. And then the other one says, you cannot expect NFTs to enter the mainstream and believe that the promise of potential value is more valuable than actually delivering value. This right here encapsulates everything that the general public distrusts about NFTs and is the root of all NFT scams. So starting off with this one, people will not buy something just because it's an NFT. Maybe people like us will, just because we're excited to be in the space, we enjoy the community, and we love the tech that goes behind it. But your average everyday person, they're not going to see it that way. And as was mentioned in this other tweet, that the general public distrust NFTs, that is so true, because a lot of what they see is either scams or projects that cost $100,000 that don't really do much. They don't understand why it would cost it. It seems really scammy to them. So the product will need to be great. And I trust that what Immutable X is doing and how much money they've invested, and as we start seeing more AAA developers release NFT based or Web3 based projects, until we see high quality, people are not going to leave Fortnite. They're not going to leave Roblox just because they can own their stuff. If they can own it, but it's worthless or the game's not fun, why would they want to spend, their free time playing something that isn't fun or collecting things that are worthless? So I think that we have to be honest with ourselves, and we need to realize that the general public does not share our same excitement, and they will only follow where the fun is, where the entertainment is, and things that they genuinely enjoy doing. And as promised, I'll leave you guys with some exciting VeVe and Ecomi related gaming developments. And this one is from Brock McBlockchain. And he has his Fiches game, and I'm actually about to get a Fiche. By the time the video comes out, I'll probably have one, but yeah, that seems like a fun project to get into. So anyway, he tweeted this out in July, and he said probably nothing. And it has some VeVe NFTs, specifically Marvel Mighties and Unicornos. Actually, to be exact, it's one Unicorno, Ritmo, and then we got two Mermicornos, Corsica and Cora. But he shows that there are VeVe NFTs in his game along with the Fiches in his game. And so here we are revisiting Green Gobbler again. He says, so I've been thinking the past couple days, does this mean any game can use VeVe NFTs in their game, or is he only able to do this because Fiches is partnered with Ecomi? Probably the latter, right? And then Brock McBlockchain says, not the latter. And so in case you have short-term memory like I do, he is saying that it is not just because Fiches is partnered with Ecomi. It means that any game can use VeVe NFTs in their game. So that just means that the possibilities are literally endless. And when you have IPs such as Marvel and DC and Cartoon Network and all these fun characters that everyone knows and loves, that just makes for the perfect concoction of fun Web3 games with unlimited potential for the developers, and I cannot wait to see what comes of this. This seems like a gold mine that is just untapped right now. And this right here just gave me an idea. I could see this being the perfect use case for renting collectibles, because here's an example. So from Gods Unchained, or if you have any experience with card games really, you would know that there are certain cards that on their own, they're honestly terrible, they're not good. But if you pair them with supporting cards that can build off of each other, then they become good. So for example, say someone just needs one more character for their game to make their squad good. And say that character happens to be a first appearance Spider-Man that cost $1 million to buy. Obviously, people aren't going to pay that much money for a collectible in a game. Most people won't, at least. But if you can rent it out for $5 a day, $10 a day, honestly, the amount does not matter. If you can just rent it out and have it in your team to rank up, or to win a weekend ranked league, or just for whatever goals you're trying to accomplish, if you can rent out characters to complete your squad, complete your team, whatever it might be, then that is a perfect use case for renting. And you guys can probably think of a million cool ideas of what could be used when we integrate NFTs with games. And across all games, these characters will not be limited to just one game. And that is shown through this Brock McBlockchain example with the fishes. And if you guys have seen that new game that has come out, Multiverses, that is just a fun little example of what could be done with the IP that is on VeVe. So I think if there's only one way for NFTs to take off, I think it'll be through gaming. And I think I gave plenty of examples to explain why I feel that way. If you guys enjoyed the research, if you enjoyed the breakdown, I'd really appreciate if you guys could share the content on Twitter, Discord, Telegram, honestly anywhere would be greatly appreciated. Get this info out to as many people as possible, get as many people as educated as possible. And with that being said, I'll wrap the video up here. Like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, comment if you got something to say, and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. As always, my name is NFC Flenny. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I will catch you guys next time.